Hey guys, it's Kyle Thompson here with eXp Realty, bringing you the first market update for October. And this week we're going to be covering all property types. Let's dive right in. Okay, starting off big picture. Last month we had 344 new listings, 159 new sales. The average list price was $694,543. The average sale price was $667,237. The average sale price to list ratio was 95.97. The average days on market was 54, and we ended the month with an inventory of 922 units. So let's take a look at what that does for the market conditions. As always, I like to use both the monthly supply of inventory method as well as the sale to new list ratio, as I find using both measures gives a more complete picture of what's going on in the market. With that said, using the monthly supply of inventory method, we came in at 5.84, which is in a neutral market, but bordering on a buyer's market. If we use the sale to list price ratio instead, we came in at 46%, which puts us right into the middle of a neutral market. Now let's take a look at the active inventory last month. So in September, new listings rose from 331 up to 344. New sales fell from 183 to 159, and expireds ticked up from 71 up to 88. And the benchmark price for a home in Kamloops fell $7,700 from $594,900 to $587,200. Now let's take a look at the end of month inventory. Last month, we ended the month with an inventory of 922 units, which is about 33% above the trailing 10-year average of 693 for this time of year. If we take a look at new listings instead, we see so far year to date, there's been 3,203, which is the highest over the last decade. And currently we're sitting about 10.5% above the trailing 10-year average of 2,894. Now let's take a look at units sold. So far year to date, there's been 1,484, which is the second lowest in the past decade, only ahead of last year. And currently we are sitting about 18% below the trailing 10-year average of 1,807. Now let's take a look at the sales dashboard, starting off at the average sale price. This table is measuring a full year over a full year, so year over year. And when looked at that way, the average sale price is relatively flat, only up about 1.77% in aggregate, with all of the major property types being within about 3% plus or minus where they were the year prior. The biggest moves are in single-family dwellings on land, which were up 11%, manufactured homes on land, which are up 33%, full duplexes down 17%, and fourplexes down about 21%. Now let's take a look at the sale to list price ratio. So all this is a measurement of how much properties are selling below the list price on average, and it's a good proxy for how much negotiating room you have when you are the buyer. With that said, last month it went up about 0.5% up to 95.97, which is about middle of the road over the last 12 months, but that means that you have slightly less negotiating room on average when you are the buyer. Now let's take a look at the sales by property type. Once again, this table is a full year over a full year. And when looked at that way, sales are up 5.69%, rising from 1,792 up to 1,894 in aggregate. If you want to take a closer look at how the property types are faring, feel free to pause the video. I'm going to move on to average days on market, starting off with the 10-year. So far year to date, it's taken an average of 53 days for properties to sell, which is about 11% below the trailing 10-year average of 48. If we take a look at the trailing 12 months instead, we see that in September, average days on market fell about 7 days. Currently, we're sitting at 54, which is about 4% below the trailing 12-month average of 56. Finally, let's take a look at days on market by property type. As you can see, all property types, with the exception of full duplexes, are taking longer to sell, but the largest increases are in apartments, half duplexes, manufactured homes in parks, and manufactured homes on their own land, which are up around 25 to 40% on average. That's all we have for today. I really hope that you guys are continuing to get value out of these market updates. If you are, please consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you ever feel like you want something added to these market updates, or you feel like something needs to be more thoroughly explained, please feel free to leave your comments or suggestions in the comment section below, and I'll get to them as soon as I'm able. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.